Good evening, this is BelGeode and we are back with some more XPlane 10.50. So we are back here in Zelienople, and as you can see we are with the Belicopter, and it is a lovely Friday evening in November. Now, what we're going to be doing tonight, I am going to be flying us out to Beaver County Airport, which is going to be my next little airport project here. I figure since we did a pretty decent job on Zelienople, we'll keep the fun going, and we'll work on some more airports in Beaver County and western PA, southwestern PA. So, we're flying the Belicopter because, well, let's face it, I don't fly this thing nearly often enough, and I really do like it. I never thought I'd say that about a Eurocopter type of helo, but yes, I really do like it. And I do have the startup checklist. I'm starting to get a little bit more proficient in it, so we're going to be using it to get all of our checklist items done here, and then we'll go ahead and fly out, and I'll show you some more of what I've been doing. Okay, so we're in the cockpit, and let me just look over the checklist. Seats and control pedals adjust and secure. Now we're good to go there. Seat belts fasten. We don't need to worry about that. Rotor brake forward and locked. Oh yes, I'm sure you remember rotor brake forward and locked. There we go. Fuel shutoff lever forward, plastic guard condition. I'm not really sure why they say plastic guard condition, but I'm thinking what they mean is make sure the plastic guard is down, which as you can see, it is. Okay, twist grip to the idle position. Yes, that is correct. You'll notice the twist grip here on the collective. Right now it's in flight. Right now it's in idle. That's where it should be, so we'll leave it there. Hydraulic pressure switch needs to be on. By default it is. We'll go ahead and turn it off. Turn it back on just to verify. Okay, emergency switch, check that it's in the up position. It most certainly is. You can see it right there just to the right of our main engine displays there. There's an acronym for that. I'll remember it as I get a little bit further into the checklist here. Alright, starting selector should be in the off position. Our starting selector's up here. And actually, let me go ahead and put my headphones on. There we go. And I am using brand new headphones in real life as well too, so I'm hoping the mic sounds a little bit crisper than it has before, and I'm hoping that there's less of that knocking sound whenever my cheeks push my headphones out. It was annoying, pretty much. Alright, but that's the starting selector switch, and it's where it needs to be, so we're good to go there. Okay, so now we can get some electronics on. Well, let's get some electrical on first. So, we want DCT BAT. There we go. BAT EPU. GENE, which of course is generator. We're going to do the lighting circuit. Since it is evening time, we're going to go ahead and turn on both instrument lighting circuits. Make sure everything is on. Incidentally, if you want to adjust the brightness of your instrument lights, there are two knobs here. I'm turning the middle one now. And there's also this knob here. And there's even a selector for day and night. Now typically whenever I fly, whether it's day or night, I always like to have the instrument lights up. Otherwise I can't really see it that well when everything is zoomed out to my proper position. I'm sure that'll change once I finally get an Oculus Rift and of course the capability to use it in XPlane, because that's still not a thing as of yet. But for now, I'll take my lights. My lights are good. Alright, next thing, ICS and GPS nav system on. In other words, turn on the avionics and turn on the radio and transponder. There we go. Good deal. Okay, warning lights test. If you remember, that is in the very lower left corner of my little pedestal here. We'll go ahead and hold it down. Everything lit up like a Christmas tree. I love it. And actually, I'm not even going to say Christmas tree because it's barely November. It's not even my birthday, let alone Thanksgiving. So we ain't talking about Christmas right now. Just not happening. Alright, moving on. Fire test. We'll go ahead and perform that. Yep. Fire light came on in the upper right-hand corner of the warning panel. Turn it back off. And we're also supposed to check the ACU test. Hold that down for 2 seconds. Come up off of that. Close the lid. Okay, good to go. I still haven't figured out quite what that thing does yet, but we'll figure it out eventually. Alright, now we're supposed to check the VEMD. That is here in the center. That's our engine gauges and whatnot. There are other screens that we can use. If we click on the scroll button to the right, check the heating and demisting is off. That's actually a part of our checklist, so yes, that is off. Engine performance, crew, payload. Hey, that's actually close to my actual weight, 176 pounds. I'm actually more like 187, thereabouts. I've gained a little bit of weight, but then I have a desk job, so I'm not surprised. Okay, and then back to that. Alright, we're pretty much ready to start up the engine, but before I do that, let me see if I can set my altimeter and also my ADI. I keep forgetting this ADI. It needs to be caged before you take off. So how you do that is smack dab in the center of this knob in the right corner, hold it down, watch it jiggle. When it stops jiggling, let it go. So there we go. That should be where it is. Alright, our altimeter does not look like it's too far off, but we're going to go ahead and open up the GPS and tune in the radio frequency, which is 118.450, and we'll see what the ATIS lady says.
Zelienople Muni weather. Wind 240 at 5, visibility more than 10. Sky clear, temperature 11, dew point 4. Altimeter 3039.
3039, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that to the left a bit on a hunch. We'll see what that says. 3039.
Zelienople
Perfect.
Muni weather. Wind 240.
All right, turn you off. We don't need you. And let's see. Right now this thing is set from KBVI to KPJC, which is not where we want to go. So let's open up the flight plan real quick. We'll go menu, and we want to invert flight plan. There we go. KPJC, which is where we are, to KBVI. Alright, that works for me. Okay, why is it telling me that we're going to KPJC? We don't want to go there. No. Are you on crack? We want to go to KBVI. Nope, that's not what I was looking for either. There we go. Alright, menu, activate leg. Now we're cooking. Right, so this thing is about 10 miles away, 270 degrees, so we're going to be traveling due west. Right now we are headed 99 degrees, so we are facing just about east. Okay, and one thing I wanted to tell you about the altimeter, and in particular with airports that I'm designing. Even though I'm still mulling over the thought of putting my airports on the org site, I will probably end up doing that before the year is out. But as far as the altimeter goes, you'll notice that I always try to set that. And one of the things that I'm going to start doing on every airport that I do, you'll notice that I have the elevation there. So pretty much wherever you park, look around the airport and you'll probably find a sign like this that'll tell you the elevation. So if for some strange circumstance you can't get the ATIS, you can still use that to set your altimeter. So keep that in mind there. Alright, we are ready to start the engine. So let's turn the fuel pump on. We'll get the anti-collision lights on. And we've got to wait about 30 seconds before we start the engine. I'm thinking that's a fuel pump getting warmed up there. I don't think they're going to kill me if it's a little bit less than 30 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Okay, rotor brake is confirmed off, so our rotors should start turning any second. Yep, there they go. And while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and close the door. We can watch the RPM rise on this center gauge right here. It's going to rise quickly. We also need to watch for the lights to go out, so engine P just went out, MGBP needs to go out, and HYDER, which is the hydraulic, that'll need to go out. So MGP just went out, hydraulics just went out. Okay, good to go. And now that we've got everything set, we can go ahead and close the starting guard, so that way we don't accidentally turn the engine off in mid-flight. Although, I have been watching helicopter training videos. I might experiment with doing auto rotation because I really don't get enough practice with emergency procedures, and auto rotation, that's a big one, let's just say. Alright, now we need to turn on the pitot heat. There we go, then that disappears. And we should probably make sure that all of our other lights are on. So position lights, taxi lights. We'll go ahead and turn on the landing lights since it's evening time. I'm going to set this to flash. There we go. And I'm thinking we're pretty much set to start spooling the engine up. I don't think I want to do any of the other hydraulics tests and all of that stuff. So let's go ahead and get the twist grip moved. And we'll wait for the engine to spool up. Love the digital gauges that they gave us here too. That's pretty cool. Alright, now that that's stabilized, you'll see we have one light left on the caution warning panel. That's for the horn. And now it's gone. Okay, so at this point we need to make sure everything else that's supposed to be on is on. So we'll make a quick check of all of our buttons. Yes, pretty much everything's on except pitch trim, roll trim. We can leave those as is though, that's fine. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll unlock the collective. Let's verify that it moves a little. Yep, there we go. We'll do the same thing for the cyclic. We'll turn this to the left, I want to say. And let's see, we got some cyclic action. Alright, good to go. And then the last thing I want to do is make sure we're pointing in the right direction. So we need to be going 270. Let's go ahead and turn our course director. There we go, west to 270. Looks like our heading bug is already there, so that is good. We can also set our radar altimeter. So let me go ahead and bump that up to, I would say, about 50 feet off the deck. I could bring it down a little bit lower, so yeah, let's do that. Let's make it about 30 feet off the deck. That way I'll know if I'm going to slam it down. Alright, I don't know about you folks, but I think we are just about set to go. The only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to close these windows. Whoops, that one's already closed. Alright, that's fine. What about this one? Is this one already closed? No, it was not. Okay. It's a little bit nippy here in Pittsburgh today, so yes, that might be a good thing to do. Okay, well, I don't know about you, but I think we're ready to take off. So let's go ahead and pull her up. Slowly but surely raising the collective. Alright, looking good. We're going vertical, baby. We are going vertical. We'll take one last look at Zelienople. Got our El Toro Mexican restaurant. Got our hangars and so on. Man, everything looking so sweet. I am so glad with how this airport came out. I'm basically using it as the paradigm, if you will, or the template for all the other airports that I come up with. I want to have this level of quality. I'm trying to define my style, so to speak. Alright, but bye-bye Zelienople, and thank you so much for all the fun. Let's see if we can turn to the west and get the hell out of here. Before the sun sets, at least. There we go, we'll dip down, we'll get some forward airspeed going. And we'll make a turn to the right. Now, for those of you who are eagle-eyed in the audience, I'm sure you've realized that my trees look a little bit different this time around. I'll explain in a second exactly what it is that I'm doing to allow for that. In the meantime, say your goodbyes to Zelienople, because we are out of here. Alright, we want to go 270. I think I can see Beaver County's beacon directly ahead, so yes, this is where we need to be. And I absolutely love how the weather in real life has been cooperating with me. Usually I try to set XPlane to real world weather, so this is exactly what it's like outside right now, and I am loving it, let me tell you. But yeah, like I said, those of you who are eagle-eyed in the audience will have noticed it is autumn. Probably wondering, Bell, how did you pull that off? How did you make your X-Plane look like Autumn? Well, mods. Not gonna lie, there are mods. What I'm using, though, is a combination of a couple of different mods. The first one that I downloaded was called Simple Seasons by a good friend of mine, She Pooley, who used to be in my Second Life flying club, so to speak. And we also used to do a lot of flights, group flights in FSX. So she came up with this mod that basically allows XPlane to change seasons the same way that it does in FSX, or the same way FSX does. So I have the basis of that in there, plus I have a couple of others that will be appearing on the screen right now, which I used for the textures that you're seeing on the ground, as well as the new designs for the trees. You will notice that it did not affect all the Autogen trees. That's because some of the neighborhoods in here that use the default XPlane Autogen, which, by the way, is California-based scenery, it automatically comes with green trees that cannot be changed unless we make some seriously radical changes. I am glad to hear that XPlane 11 is going to be adding a bit more Autogen. I am kind of hoping to see some northern type housing or some eastern USA type housing instead of the California, because that is a little jarring. Every now and then you run into a palm tree in the middle of Pennsylvania. It just doesn't work that way, you know. But there we go. So yeah, I thought this came out really, really good. And I'm going to do a couple of more flights a little bit later on that will highlight more of the autumn scenery that I've got going. But for now, you can catch the evening sky and how it glints off the trees and so on. So pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Now up ahead you can see a highway. I am pretty sure this highway is the Pennsylvania Turnpike. So I know that where we're headed is going to be close by there. It should be a little bit to the south. So let's go ahead and see if we can follow the highway real quick here. Might as well. It's one thing I will never take away from XPlane. Look at the headlights on these cars and the brake lights and everything. That is too cool. I love that sort of thing. It's these little things that matter. Really can't wait to see what XPlane 11 is going to bring to the table here. I'm pretty sure it's going to be awesome. There you go. There is the turnpike. Let me take a quick picture here. Kodak moment. As a matter of fact, yeah, I might be able to do this. This would be cool. Oh, yeah, that might be our title shot right there. Love it. L-U-V it. Okay, so I don't want to lose my place. The beacon is a little bit to the left. That's going to be pretty close to the city of Beaver and the city of Beaver Falls. I used to live in that neck of the woods. I lived in Monaco, which is probably a few miles to the south of both Beaver and Beaver Falls. But yeah, one thing you'll notice about Beaver County and Butler County in particular, there are a lot of Native American names and so on. You know, you got places like Monaco. The airport that we're going to be landing at is in the town of Chippewa, and so on and so forth. You know, all kinds of Native American names around here. And actually, that reminds me, this is probably the only time you will ever hear me get political. I've actually been following what's been going on in North Dakota with that oil company trying to run a pipeline through Native American lands. I gotta say, folks, that shit sickens me. This is 2016. We have no business doing that to Native Americans. They've suffered enough. So no to DAPL. That's just absolute rubbish. They need to quit what they're doing there. Anyway, that's the only time you'll hear me get political or whatnot. I won't comment on any of the other things that are going on in November. I prefer to stay out of that one. Alright, but we are closing in on Beaver and Beaver Falls. We should be passing the Beaver River pretty soon. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I can see it up ahead. Yeah, the Beaver River empties out into the Ohio River, and Ohio River, of course, continues on to the west. There are some dams here, and traditionally there were beaver dams on this river. Beaver Falls is so named because some of the dams that they have in this area, they basically turned into like waterfalls as part of a way to control the water supply and so on and so forth. So that was how Beaver Falls got its name. It's also the home of one of the universities. I forget which one, but I'll flash it on the screen in a minute. But yeah, this is Beaver Falls. Between you and I, folks, not exactly one of the best places to live. It's a little bit ghetto for, you know, what it is. But I do have some friends that still live there, so I'm not going to rag on their town too much. It's quaint, we'll give it that. It's quaint. Let's take a look at it from the outside real quick as we make our approach. Yeah, there's the university off to the right. Now that's one thing that I've noticed about this W2XP or World 2 XPlane that I'm using here. Every now and then you run into a situation where it puts trees inside of buildings, so I'm not sure if that's something that they can fix or what. Maybe they need to change programming slightly so that whenever it drops a building, it knows to put an exclusion zone around it so there's no trees going through it. I don't know. It's just me popping off ideas. Okay, and as you can see, our airport is up ahead. I'll be honest with you folks, I have not really done much with this. The only thing that I did was I put down the taxiway and of course made the runway closer to true life. So it's the exact length, the exact direction, everything. But I really haven't gotten started on the apron or anything. We'll take a look around, and of course the next video that you see from here, I'll have the airport finished so you can take a look at it. Now I did say one thing that I wanted to try was my auto rotation. So, let me see if I can set that up really quick. We're at about 3,000 right now. I think they say you should auto rotate between 70 and 80 knots, so I'm dropping the collective a little bit here. Wish me luck. I hope this goes well. Alright, this is going to be a power on auto rotation, meaning the engine will still be going, but I'm just going to drop the throttle or the twist grip. So here we go, auto rotating in 3, 2, 1. We'll also drop the collective to 0. And as you can see, it feels like we're falling out of the sky right now. That is relatively accurate. The goal here with an auto rotation is to see if you can bring yourself down at a good enough speed and a good enough angle and then arrest your descent just over the runway to come in for a nice soft landing. I've tried this a couple of times and I was successful, but it wasn't the best. We'll see how we do here. So pretty much the rotors are rotating on their own. That's it. There's not enough power for me to stay airborne, so it's like we're gliding down essentially. And that's the purpose of auto rotation. If you run into any critical issues where maybe your engine dies or something like that, that's why you would want to use that as an emergency procedure to get yourself out of trouble. So we're probably gonna skid. Just to forewarn you, I hope you have your seatbelts tight. We are losing a lot of altitude, but our speed is staying constant, which is the goal. As soon as that radar altimeter tells me that I'm getting below my altitude, I'll go ahead and pull up the collective a little bit. Here we go. Here we go. Alright, there we go. Collective up. And that'll slow us down a little. Keep the nose pitched up. Woo! Wow! That is an auto rotation, folks. It's a good thing this thing's got some powerful forward skids, otherwise that could have ended really badly for me. But yeah, no worse for wear. We are down. Alright, let me check my instruments before I do anything else here, because obviously I'm going to want to get off the runway in case one of my AI planes decide to come in. I do have a couple running right now. Okay, everything appears to be in normal limits, so let's go ahead and put this thing back up to flight. Wait for it to do its thing. Oh, and by the way, welcome to Beaver County, folks. This is going to be our home for the next few episodes here. Unless, of course, I do decide to do an unrelated episode where I'm just flying from wherever I feel like. Which most likely I will do. I kind of want to change things up a little bit. Alright, let's make sure we still have power. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Okay, looking good. We'll take a quick look around this airport and then we'll call this episode done. As we enjoy the beautiful sunset. And by the way, the sunset textures, I don't know if I told you, that is also something that I've added. The link, of course, will be below, and you'll probably see it pop up now who it was that created the sunset textures. Bear in mind, this also goes the same for sunrise and, of course, midday, midnight. He did all of the textures, and I thought he did a phenomenal job. That's one thing I love doing in any flight simulator, is making sure that my sunsets and sunrises look like real life. He pulled it off. Alright, but as you can see, there's a taxiway, there's little areas where aircraft can like hold short. The roadway is, of course, part of XPlane, but one thing that I've noticed in my, overlay maps, the roadways are proper. That is how they're supposed to come in to this airport. So this is going to be really fun, putting all of the hangars and so on and so forth and having road traffic come in to the airport. Incidentally, one of the things that Beaver County has is an air museum. They happen to have an F-15. If I'm not too mistaken, I want to say it's an F-15 Strike Eagle. I could be wrong. But Austin, if you're watching this video, I'll try and see if I can find a model of the F-15 to put down at the museum in this airport when I'm done with it. So there you go. Alright, so we are here in Chippewa with the California houses. And that is essentially our neighborhood. And this is where our airport's going to go. So let's see if we can bring this bird down once and for all. A little bit more collective here, and I'm thinking we should probably park on that taxiway off to the side there. Call this done. Sorry for my wobbling there, folks. I seem to have a nasty habit of taking like a week or two off from recording helicopter episodes, and then when I get back in this thing, I'm rusty as all hell. So you'll have to forgive me for that. Alright, let's pull up. Let's drop some altitude here. Yeah, not too shabby on that auto rotation. I probably could have added a little bit more collective because I think I came down a little too hard. But I'll keep practicing. I mean, that gives you an idea at least of how you pull it off. Very useful if you happen to find yourself out of engine power. But one thing I will caution you, please make sure that you are at least over 100 feet off the deck. Any less than that could become deadly in a helicopter. Whoa. Wow, that was like my worst landing in this thing ever. I don't know what it is. I can never land this thing properly. Alright, but you know what? We're down. It's sunset. It's a beautiful November day. And what say we turn this puppy off and call this baby done. So, where's my checklist? Alright. Cyclic stick to neutral, we can go ahead and lock that too, so I'll pull that to the right. Make sure our cyclic cannot move. Yep, good deal. Collective lock, go ahead and lock that. Collective cannot go up or down, this is good. Okay, twist grip can go back to the idle detent, so we'll pull that down. Wait for that to come down, wait for the engine oil to cool, takes about 30 seconds roughly. We'll go ahead and turn off our flashing and our landing lights. Go ahead and turn off the horn so that way it doesn't automatically go off when the RPMs get too low. Pitot heat we can also turn off. Non-required systems such as avionics we can turn off. So yes, let's go ahead and do that. We'll turn you off, we'll turn you off, turn off the avionics switch, and that'll kill the GPS and the other radios. Good deal. Let's check our RPMs, make sure that they're coming down nicely so that I can actually turn off the engine. We're at about 215, this is good. Okay, next order of business, we will go ahead and flick ye old switch. So we'll open up the cover, turn you off. And while we're up here, we'll go ahead and get the fuel cutoff. There we go. Everything will gently spool down. Fuel pump off, position lights off, anti-collision off. Looking good, looking good. And we'll wait for the rotor to spin down a little bit more before we apply the rotor brakes. And then we can call this baby done. So, as always, thank you so much for watching. And thank you, as always, for your comments, your likes, and even your suggestions from time to time. Some of you got some pretty decent suggestions there. I do appreciate that. So when next you see me, we'll figure out what we're going to do. Maybe we'll do something completely off the wall and different, but then eventually we will come back here to Beaver County, get this airport done, and I'll show you what it looks like when it is finished before we move on to our next airport. Alright, rotor is slow enough, so we'll go ahead and unlock that. Oh, it's already unlocked. Put the rotor brake on, lock that. There we go. Alrighty folks, as always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. This has been BelGeode flying in XPlane 10.5, and I will catch you on the next one. Ciao!